It's been a good few weeks since I've been able to sit down and talk, so let's get to talking. Let's get to rapping, because it's a lot of stuff going on right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to Just Another Freckle Face YouTube channel. It's me, the freckle face in the flesh herself. Make sure you like and subscribe. I ain't gonna say upload weekly, because upload whenever I can. If you haven't already watched it, please go watch the African Party video and the Fashion Nova Haul Part 2 video. Just uploaded those, as well as my YouTube shorts that I upload with my friend Autumn. Alright, let's get to talking, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and as you all know, I don't have a lot of storage. First and foremost, happy Juneteenth, guys. Happy Juneteenth to you all. Well, I guess to the ones that celebrate, and to the ones that don't. You know, this ain't your day. This ain't your day. And I'm going to read about Juneteenth and basically what it is, in case you don't know what Juneteenth is. This is from Google. Freedom. Okay, June 19th, 1865. When some 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas, the Army announced that the more than 250,000 enslaved black people in the state were free by executive decree. The day came to be known as Juneteenth by newly free people in Texas. So this is our Independence Day, Black people's Independence Day. You know, what more can I say? We have come very far from what our ancestors have had to deal with. Even our grandparents had to deal with. We are achieving all the goals. We are achieving all the milestones. We are going above and beyond. Even when they push the goalposts further, we keep going past the goalposts. And I want to let y'all know today, we're going to keep going past the goalposts. Despite the many unfortunate things that have been happening this past couple months and weeks. Unfortunately, Cyrus Belton did not receive justice, and it's sad, it's unfortunate, and it's sad, for the simple fact that this wasn't Mr. Chow's first incident with I don't know if it's a black customer walking around the store and him chasing the customer out the store. And you know, it was a stockpile of evidence that proved him guilty, and he was still found not guilty. You know, the system is not made for us. And another case, Carmelo Anthony, not to be confused with excuse me, not to be confused with the ball player Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony, a young man who was defending himself against, I don't know if his name was Austin or Anthony Metcalf. When he approached him, causing troubles and issues, the young man defended himself. Austin ended up dying because of a stab wound. And of course, he had a all-white jury in the state of Texas. The judge, and apparently now it's the judge, the lawyers, everybody knew each other. So now it seems like it was a plot to set him as an example. And now apparently the judge that presided against the case just conveniently retired. Right? But there's one thing that they're able to do. I believe they are able to request a retrial if new evidence pops up, and also, you know, keep fighting for him. Keep fighting for Carmelo Anthony, because at the end of the day, this is straight up self-defense. Had this been the other way around, the young, if he was white and the other one was black, he would be getting off, if not have minimal jail time. And the cases just keep adding on, because now it's another case where a woman was accused of stealing diapers and police were called to a Walmart. I'm not sure if it was in Texas or not. I could be wrong. Hold on. Nevertheless, police were called and they said that the woman was driving towards police officers, which caused them to shoot at her car, killing her 1-year-old child. First and foremost, I don't believe that story worth a darn, because apparently the woman ordered the diapers online and went to go pick them up and had a receipt. Walmart and their policy on quote-unquote stealing, and like, again, I've never worked retail like that a day in my life, but I know enough retail to know that you're not supposed to chase these people out the store. You're not supposed to go after them. You're not supposed to attack them. You're not supposed to do any of the things. And we keep seeing time and time again in the news where black people are accused of stealing and people are running after them, chasing after them for merchandise. Merchandise that Walmart, a big corporation, has insurance on it. It's people in the local gas stations and stores who have the people's pictures plastered on the door saying they can't come in here. If you believe that the woman stole, you're supposed to do your due diligence, take her picture, and file a report. Add insult to injury, on top of the police killing babies, they kill dogs too. There was another woman in her apartment watching the Knicks game. The Knicks won, and she was, of course, excited. She screamed and shouted. The dog was barking. Someone on the other floor thought that somebody was in trouble, doing what they want to do. They quote-unquote want to do a wellness check. Now, I saw in the comment section somebody said, I want to hear this phone call, the 911 call, because a wellness check with, I believe, 10 officers? That's ridiculous. Anyways, long story short, they banging on the lady's door. She opens the door. The dog comes running like dogs do, and they shot at the dog and killed it. And this is why when I say, people want to sit here and say back to blue, back to blue, but you see instances of these. You see these instances, and of course, the 1-year-old baby is not the only instance of police killing black and brown people. Black people, actually, stay sleep with us. Not the only instance of killing black people. And now they're shooting at dogs. How much further, how much low can they go? These people are very trigger happy. But you know what? In the words of Kendrick Lamar, we're gonna be all right. Every time I see a story regarding these instances, I'm going to keep sharing it. I'm going to keep it alive. It's times where Trayvon Martin's story pops up on my feed and I keep sharing it. I keep it alive because why? We're being done so dirty. We're being done so dirty. We have to keep these stories alive to remind the people that these people don't care. Injustice is being done towards us, and y'all don't see it. You don't see it until it happens to you. And one day it's going to happen to them. I did mention the Knicks. Speaking of the Knicks, Trump was bad luck. He went to one of the Knicks games, and they lost. I believe he went to the Super Bowl, and the team he was rooting for lost. What does that say about your Commander-in-Chief? He's bad luck. He's bad luck. And speaking of the White House, they had the UFC fight there. First of all, white trash, ghetto. Ghetto. And that UFC fighter said that ignorant stuff about Michelle Obama, even more ghetto. Respectfully, I would have, and the day I heard something being said about me, slander, sued. I would have been faking it. I'd be like, please cancel all my events. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be hurt. I'm having a hard time. I'm crying. I'm depressed. I would have said all these things. Now I got medically cleared for it. I got medically cleared for it to make you be the bad guy and make everyone in this courtroom feel sorry for me. And I would have sued you. Now, I don't know what she's going to do, because it seems like she is ignoring it completely. So I think they just opened up the Obama Center in Chicago, and I'm pretty sure she's had her hands full with, her and her husband had their hands full with that and other things. So basically it's beneath her. However, again, I still think she should sue. I do. I'm right here. Sue niggas for slander. Sue niggas for slander. Y'all not gonna learn to say ignorant. Y'all gonna keep saying ignorant stuff about us until y'all learn, and it makes your pockets hurt. The Brene and Tim situation has proven us otherwise. Got that girl on the run. She owes almost $2 million. She on the run. She keep digging herself in a deeper hole. But guess what? Your bad actions have consequences. Start suing these folk. Start wasting these people time. Start causing them anguish and trouble and all these things. They're not going to learn until you dig in their pockets. And in her case, she hasn't learned nothing yet. But hey, I'm sure when you get a warrant out for her arrest, she'll learn. A man ain't worth getting arrested for. And you spewing untruths about the former first lady ain't worth it either. You could have kept that to yourself. Truly. You could have kept that hateful statement to yourself. Because now all you doing is causing problems in discourse. And causing problems for yourself. And the guy in charge of all that owns the UFC, all he said was he condemns what he said. You condemn what he said, but you're not gonna fire him. I would have fired him. I'm like, oh no, you're bringing negativity to my platform. You're fired. You're fired. You're done. You can go fight in UFC somewhere else. I don't care. You're not coming back here. You're a liability.
You just a liability, CJ.
You got to go. Sue niggas. Sue him, sue the guy in charge of UFC, and sue the White House. Sue them all. Last couple of things about the world that, of course, I waited weeks to talk about. Has anyone ever watched Euphoria? I've seen clips. I basically know Euphoria based on the clips I've seen on TikTok. Like how I know Dragon Ball Z because I watched Team 4-Star do Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Kai. That's the only reason I know the storyline, and my boyfriend, which gives me knowledge on it as well, right? So, anyone ever seen Euphoria? I watched the recaps of the last season. I didn't really like how it ended. However, I mean, I'm not mad. I am mad that Rue basically died. But, I mean, it is, I'm not going to say it's the reality of some people who do drugs or are addicts in America. But this is what addiction can sometimes lead to. You know, you may be doing one of these drugs, and, you know, this person's saying, oh, this is pure whatever. Like, okay, this is weed. But some of these people are evil and they will lace your shit. And They lace any of your shit, and that's what's crazy about this world is that people will lace. Oh gosh, gnats. People will lace your stuff, and people will say, like, well, oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Technically, no, it's not your fault. You didn't put the joint to their mouth. You didn't put a needle to their arm. However, you put something in there that wasn't what it was, which caused them to die. And, you know, the whole story in Euphoria, basically, Alamo found out that Rue was double-crossing him and snitching him to the DEA. He laced her pain medicine with enough, I think fentanyl, to basically cause her to look like she had an accidental overdose. She's thinking she taking pain medicine, and she wasn't. So, I mean, it was sad, but, I mean, hey, her sponsor got justice for her. Shot that nigga down. And then, like, with, Maddie and Cassie, you know, Nate died and all that. And I'm like, it's crazy how they became friends anymore. Like, you went after that lady's man just for that man to be broke, poor, and end up dying. And these two end up being back together. Basically, they were lesbians from the jump. They were soulmates. They was lesbians from the jump. Like, she basically, like, quote unquote, the breadwinner in the relationship, and Cassie was basically the housewife, Maddie the breadwinner. You know, I mean, like I said, I don't know if I can handle that type of betrayal, but I'm kind of like Maddie with the loyalty. Like, if somebody would say something rude, mean, and nasty to me, and it's been done before by people that I love dearly, and the minute they need me for something, I jump up and I go help them. That's me. And it's like, I'm like, at one minute I'm like, hey, you know, this girl did her dirty in the show, but it's like at the same time I'm like dang, this your homegirl. She is asking for your help. She down bad. Y'all rekindling your relationship. Fuck that nigga Nate. You know, and yeah. Sometimes that's what friendships do. You'll be friends with somebody, they'll do you dirty, you'll say all types of things, you'll separate, and years later y'all come back together, and then y'all cool with each other, and it's like nothing ever happened. But needless to say, I mean, I guess I like the ending. Like I said, I don't know, I'm weird like that. I can't really get into dramas and stuff like that, so I don't know. Sometimes too much of the sex stuff is too much, but at the same time, I like it. I like a good smut story, you know. But I mean, I guess the last last episode was cool. I'm not mad for it. Would I like to see a spin-off? I sure would. A recap, of course, but would I like to see a spin-off? Yes, I would. I'm just gonna say this quick tidbit. I implore y'all to stop swimming in this inner harbor. More people keep swimming in this harbor, and I'm like, what is the fascination? It's already been 2 bodies that have been found in this harbor. Now, I get it if you want to dip your toe in the water. Cool. To submerge your whole body? No. You couldn't pay me to do that. I just couldn't do it. I can't do it. And I don't know why people do it. I don't know why people swim in the harbor. Maybe it's I don't even want to say it's a Baltimore thing, because even people that grew up in the city of Baltimore will not sit here and be like, oh, I'm gonna jump in the inner harbor. No, I'm not even from Baltimore City. Family, yes. Visited many times, yes. Grew up there, no. Knows enough to not jump in the inner harbor, yes. I would never do that. Are you crazy? Stop jumping in that water, please, before y'all get some gangrenous infection. I don't want y'all to judge me, but I'm back on Webtoon. Webtoon caught me. I was on Instagram one day, and I just happened to see one of their ads. They're promoting a story called Situationship. Honey, I'm reading that story, and it is hot. Girl, that is freaky in the story. Like, so basically, I'm gonna try and explain the stories that I'm reading on the Webtoon. Basically, Situationship is about a black girl named Tegan. She had all guy friends growing up, like friends that, their families and stuff grew up with. I believe her and her two brothers might have been adopted by a white family. I could be wrong. They were all adopted. The other ones had their families. Everyone grew up together. It got to a point where her and another guy named Heath, they hooked up a while ago, like probably in that summertime. And then years later, she met a guy. They was basically getting it on, and he got off, and she didn't. And she was like, all right, I can't be in a relationship with you anymore because you not getting my rocks off. You're not giving me pleasure. And respectfully, I feel like, if it's a man and woman relationship, both should have pleasure. And he was not giving that to her, and he was like, oh, you breaking up with me because I'm not sitting here giving you pleasure. And she was like, you want to give me head. And he's like, I told you I don't do that. And I'm like, oh. But he wanted head. So she basically break up with the dude. I think she had a dinner that night in the story, or one of the stories. Her family had a dinner. She hang out with her homeboys, her brothers. She sees one of her guy friends with a date, and he had whispered something nasty in the date ear. And the date was on some, she want to date and get married and have kids by this time. And he was just like, I just want to, get my thing on. She ain't want to do that. She called him a pig. She left. So now it's Tegan and Heath. They together. They drunk. They take a cab, I think, to Heath's house. And they was about to do something, but she fell asleep. Heath, I think he fell on this floor and went to sleep. They woke up. She thought they did something, and they didn't. There was a lot of tension with that. And he basically brought up a suggestion that, oh, hey, why don't you and I become friends with benefits? So they become, basically she was like, I don't know, I'll think about it. She texted him, I don't know if, I can't remember if she said she'll think about it. She went out to dinner with her family. They argued about her breaking up with the guy and how it's going to look on their firms and stuff like that and deals and all that, blah, blah, blah. And I think she texted him the next day and was like, oh, hey, let's meet up and talk. I wrote up a contract, basically what we're going to do as far as this situation, us messing with each other, right? He signs the contract. And then oh my gosh, no, I don't think that happens. I think she has the dinner afterwards. They stress her out. She texts him like, where you at? Boom, they get it in. And so it's just basically, right now the story is just basically their struggles at home and life and all these things. Tegan's struggle being a black woman in a predominantly white area and space. Like the last episode I read, a cop was harassing her at an event, and one of her friends, I think one of her brothers, came in and stepped up, and now they're all at the table in dinner after the fact, and one of the friends was like, oh, what's wrong? He was just doing his job. And she basically was like they're having that conversation, they don't understand what it's like for us to be approached by cops, because usually they approach us for no reason, just because we're black. So anyways, it talks about her struggles, It talks about some of Heath's struggles right now. It hasn't really got into his struggles, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with his family as well. But it's a good story. It's a good story nonetheless. Another story I'm reading is called Mafia Nanny, or Mafia Nanny. So it's basically about a young girl whose parents were in the mafia. They got killed. The nanny that was taking care of her basically started I don't want to say started an organization that highly elite nannies go into, certain people's families that are high ranking, like mafia, osos, maybe crime bosses, politicians, etc., etc. So the girl, Davina, she's the nanny now, and she's going to take care of mafia boss's son. And the mafia boss is named Gabriel. And basically, Gabriel had to take his son along with him everywhere because he didn't have no one to take care of him. So once he got a nanny, nanny's just basically, the son, I forgot his name. The son basically, he met his match with her. And it's basically these adventures of, the first story, they try to kidnap the little boy. It was a test to kidnap him. She jumped out of the car with the boy and ran 5 blocks home. Then it was a point where it was an actual kidnapping, and she did the same thing. She jumped out the car with the little boy. It's a whole lot of part of the story. It's just basically situations keep happening more and more, and she keeps having to help out the mafia boss. And as she keeps helping him out and nurturing and taking care of her son, taking care of him, all the things, it's a lot of sexual tension between them. Sorry, cut it off. To the point where they basically kiss. And they basically confess their love. He basically sees her as, he basically told her in the story, I want you to take Mikey out of this life. That's his name, Mikey. Or Michael. What they call him, Mikey. He says, I want you to take Mikey out of this life. Take Mikey out of his life, let him become an artist or something different, because the son is basically indoctrinated. He wants to be the next mafia boss. And the dad is he's going along with it, but at the same time, he's trying to get him to wean him out of that. And he has an uncle, Gabriel is the underboss, and his uncle is I think his name is Antonio. He's the upper boss. And so he basically runs everything, and Gabriel, he's kind of defy his uncle, because he's not really that type of, he's that type of person, but he's not really that type of person. He wants his son out of his life. He wants out of his life too. And he does certain little things that make his uncle mad. So now it's to the point where a whole assassination happened in a different mafia family, and he was accused of it, and his whole team was kidnapped. And the leader of the Russian mob basically was like, oh, you gotta marry my granddaughter in order for me to let your captive go. So he agreed, not really wanting to do it. He just wanted his people back. So now it's to the point where it's all right, are they gonna make it official, or are they gonna make it official and then somebody fake their death? I don't know. So basically it's that, and then it's at the point end of the story where it's the higher up Antonio, the uncle, he has caught on that Davina was she's more than a nanny. Because really she's there to be a nanny, but she's also there because Gabriel's family back then basically killed her family, and she kind of wants to know oh, this is my opportunity to figure out what happened with my family. And she didn't tell Gabriel or anybody, but she's if he finds out, he finds out. I don't think it's anything bad with that, but anyways, she's a tech wizard. She knows how to hack And the uncle basically was like, oh, bring her here. I want to, like, get her to do some jobs, pick her brain. She basically works for me, quote unquote. So now she's there at Uncle's place. I wanted to read the recent story that came out, but I was like, no, I'm going to wait a couple weeks for more to come out because it's an addicting story. It just keeps going and going. So, needless to say, I just want to see how it goes. I want to see how it ends, all the things, right? Third story is about a vampire named, I forgot his name. It's about a vampire who basically had his mother was killed by werewolves years ago, and he goes to high school with his friend, his homegirl. They get a new student. Now I know the new student name is named Mason because that's my nephew's name. New student named Mason, and the vampire boy, he's like, I just don't have a good feeling about him because anytime he's around, he makes my heart flutter. And so some take it as an aggression. Of course, they have their beef in the beginning, and it gets to the point where they arguing, like in a bathroom one day, and eventually they kiss. Why they kiss, I don't know. They kiss, and so they was like, they don't know how to feel about that. And the boy Mason, he was like, whatever, I'm not, he wasn't into it. So it's hard to explain, but basically, the vampire boy, he got, I'm trying to think what his name is. I think it's Klein. I think his name is Klein or Keith or something like that, or Kenneth. Anyways, Kay, I'm calling him Kay. Kay's family is his brother and his dad. And his brother and his dad was like, we're gonna meet the new neighbors. They're wolves. We're gonna have a pact that we're not gonna attack each other. Lo and behold, he finds out Mason is a wolf, and they get to fussing and stuff. The older brother, he's a night walker, so he can't come out during the day. So the older brother, like, one has a vendetta against wolves. Like, he hates them, he wants to fight, all these things. The brother, Klein, Kay, he wants to do it too, but he's also like, no, like, I'm not feeling this way about this one, like, and he doesn't tell him that, of course, but other than that, lo and behold, they have many other instances where they kiss and stuff. And basically, he said, like, this isn't right. You dating my homegirl. You got me talking to another girl, which I don't even like. And it's obvious that we gay. But at the same time, it's obvious that you betraying her. And basically, Mason was like, I just have this thing where I got to be in control. It's the wolf in me, blah, blah, blah. So the last thing I read in the story was that they were going to a Halloween party as a double date. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm kind of scared. But I'm going to take my time reading this because I don't want to hurry up, rush and read it. But if you want to read these 3 stories, it's called Mafia Nanny. Mafia Nanny. Dang, what's the other one? Hold on. Let me think. Okay, it's Mafia Nanny, Love Bites, and Situationship. I would guarantee you not watch. Well, one of them you can watch, and the other 2 you gotta read, but they're good. They're really good. One more thing I forgot. There was a video going around with a single father. I don't want to say a single father, but a father and his 2 daughters traveling. He took his daughters into the women's bathroom because, they're little girls. He didn't want to take his little girls to the men's bathroom where you can see a urinal and a penis, right? There was a man that followed them and recorded them and calling 911 saying he's in the girls' bathroom. And then to the point, the guy was like, you should have asked the lady clerk to help your daughters out. And it's like, sir, that's a stranger. No offense to the lady in the video because she wasn't doing anything wrong. But it's like, that's a stranger. I'm not going to trust a stranger with my child. And so now apparently, I guess the guy who was calling 911 got fired. Good, because why are you doing this? And this comes back to a conversation where there needs to be gender neutral bathrooms. Like, I've seen it at the Banditos in White Marsh, where they had a section. It was a section, and it was 3 stalls with closed doors. Like, you can go in there, use the bathroom, and come out. Like, that's how everything should work right now, because people, there are, and I'm not saying it is or isn't trans individuals. It is for the trans individuals, but not for nothing. Everything, it leads to something, because again, there are single dads out here who have little girls, and it's like, okay, do I take my daughter into this bathroom where they gonna see something they need to see? I take her to the women's bathroom where there will not see nothing they won't need to see. I take them to the bathroom and call it a day. And vice versa. The mom, okay, I don't want to take my son to the ladies' room. And some women do, some don't. But, okay, I'm going to take him to the men's room. I'm take my little baby. That's the parent and that's the child. Now, when they get a little older and they know where to go, they know where to go. But me personally, first and foremost, I don't leave my child, because that's always the argument. You gonna leave your child in there with a trans person, they're gonna do something. First of all, I don't leave my child. I don't even have a child, I'm sorry. I don't leave any child under my care by herself in no bathroom. I don't know who in there. I don't know if somebody gonna kidnap you, do something to you. That's man or woman. And if they take too long, I open that door like, hey, you okay? I've done it to my nephew and my niece before, because I don't know people. I don't know strangers. Men or women can both be evil, trans or not. And so that's why I say you really need to have gender neutral bathrooms, because now it's to the point where y'all sit here trying to check people, see if they got private parts, and that's evil. But not for nothing, now you're chastising as a dad and taking his 2 girls to the women's bathroom so they can go to the women's bathroom. This is where we are at now in America. These people won't be happy till it happens to them. I'm telling you, they won't. They won't. Okay, let's talk about me for a second. I went to my nephew's concert the other day, and it definitely gave me like feelings of nostalgia when I used to play in band, especially in the percussion section. Like, sometimes I wish I didn't quit band. However, I was definitely getting bullied, and I wasn't for that anymore. I would have definitely like crashed out and did something wrong. However, that person got their justice deserved to them. Either way, I definitely do miss percussion. Like, I do like hearing a good drum beat, a drum set, all the things. And honestly, I wish I could learn drums again. But I'm not pressed, But I feel like I do miss the percussion section, low-key. My nephew hates playing the flute. I don't know why. He left it. He doesn't like it so much. He left it here. Now they're on summer break, and I'm like, what, are you going to get your flute? Because I'm not going to keep it in this house. I really want to do, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get Mason's flute. I'm going to do that one meme where it's Lizzo like playing the flute, and she's like, bitch. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to show it to him. He's going to have a fit. But yeah, I feel like I do miss the percussion section a little bit. Just a little, not a lot. I don't miss getting bullied, I'll say that. What else? Oh, tooth still hurts. After the African party, my tooth was literally killing me. So I took pain meds. I thought it'd be okay. The next morning, I woke up with so much pain. It hurts to touch, feel it, think about it. I literally drove to Kevin's house and I cried in his arms, and he just took care of me the rest of the day. He got me a doctor's appointment. He got my antibiotics for me and just took care of me. And right now I'm in the stage of, I told them I wanted to take it out and they said they couldn't, so I have to call an oral surgeon to schedule a time to get it taken out. Honestly, if I had $1 million, I would just get all this stuff taken out, most of this taken out, get it fixed, get a couple gold teeth, call it a day. That's just me though. Whatever. Anyways, another thing I wrote down said my mom thinks I keep to myself too much. I keep to myself because when I open up and I say certain things, some things are an issue, and not even that, I've just been used to keeping myself most of the time. Like, I'm just one of those people where it's like out of sight, out of mind. You know, it's not easy living here, and it's times where I found myself in the whole arguments over small things. Nevertheless, I keep to myself for a reason, to protect my peace and not have to get in an argument with anybody. It's only fair. I think it's only fair, respectfully. So, you know, she doesn't like the fact that I keep to myself or I don't say nothing. Oh, she only said it because I didn't tell her I was going to the African party and that it was a whole ensemble and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I didn't think you cared. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm not like my sister and brother, where they'll tell them everything, you know, eventful that's going on with them. I'm just that person where I don't think that they care. I know that's just between me and my therapist, which I haven't even called. I told you I was supposed to call and get a therapist. I have not called yet, because anytime I call somebody to get help with something health-wise, it's always, you gotta pay out of pocket, you gotta pay out of pocket, you gotta pay out of pocket. I don't have money to pay out of pocket, but hey. But I'm gonna try and call them. I'm gonna try and call them sometime this week. I'm sorry, not this week, next week, because today is Friday. I'm gonna try and call sometime next week. No hate, no shade to them. And another thing, I was having a very upsetting time last week. I had 2 orders to do. Like, two orders, but I had extra stuff. I had to make this stuff. I got off work at 7 p.m., had to work all the way up to 12 midnight, and I'd get up for work the next day and do a 7 to 3, thank God. So usually when I do my orders, sometimes I leave it in my dining room because I'm too tired to take it down, or I leave it in the dining room because I know I got another order to do the next day. Well, this time I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I can't walk anymore. I'm going to take these 2 heavy totes downstairs, just put them over, not in front of the door, but in a certain part of the basement. I'll get to it later. I come home because I had another order I had to do. I come home with supplies for the order. My mom's on the phone. She stops talking for a second and says to me, we needed to talk about where you're gonna put your stuff at and da da da. I said, my stuff's in the back room. That's what you told me to put it. I only have my stuff down here because I had other orders to do. Well, you need to move it. We gotta talk about where you're gonna put your stuff. So instantly I get in the fight or flight mode, because not only are you saying this and bombarding me with this, then when I want to talk about it, I say, okay, let's talk. I'm on the phone. This is why I keep to myself, because I get bombarded with this. I'm choosing my words carefully, because I'm just going to choose my words carefully. I get bombarded with this type of stuff, specifically from her and occasionally from my father. It's time, and trust me, it's times back then, like years ago, I would come in the house and the first thing they would say is, oh, you didn't do this. Oh, you need to do that. You need this. Da, 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 da. I just got home. it is so much stuff. Like, it is a time where we were all living together in this house and somebody didn't do something, and one of my parents made this story of, oh, your mother works 12 hours a day. And what do? I don't work 12 hours a day. I don't have to be on my feet all day. I don't have to deal with people. I don't have to deal with feces, urine, and other things, and blood. I don't have to deal with infectious diseases. Like, we're comparing who's having more of a hard time. So, like I said, it's a lot of stuff that has happened and been said, and I just kept to myself because I don't want to start an argument. And it's times where my brother and sister have started arguments with them and they've been kicked out. Now, I'm not saying I don't have anywhere to go if I get kicked out, but I'm really at the point in my life where I don't want to sit here have to take all my stuff, bunch it up, and take it to someone else's house. Or even be in that point of mindset where it's like we're beefing to the point where I got kicked out, and now either we're not going to talk, we're not talking, or where I live somewhere else and I can't even be comfortable here. So, to keep my peace for now, I keep to myself. This is why I say I need a therapist, so I can talk to a therapist and talk through these things. So when I'm able to communicate how I feel, I'm able to communicate how I feel about them and about the things they've done. Right? You know? So, needless to say, at that point where she said that I had to move my stuff, I immediately went upstairs, I went in bed, I called Kevin, I cried, and I was like, I feel like I have no support from the people that are really supposed to support me with this, which is her. I don't have any support. I'm like, you're the person that I look up for main inspiration, and I come to guidance for and advice. And it's like, okay, you give me advice, you give me guidance, you say do these things, and then you see me wanting to start up a business. But the minute you see something, like the minute she sees something she doesn't quote unquote like, and it's mine, it's a bunch of this. It's a bunch of backpedaling. You know, it's, oh, you can't have this here. You can't do this. You can't. And it's like, but you said I could. I wouldn't have done this if you said I couldn't. Because let's call a spade a spade. Before I had my shelf here, before I had my shelf right here, that's where all my stuff was at in my business. I kept that a nice clean area. I had all my tools, my sprinkles, all my stuff was there. Everything was there. And I'm like, as time went on and I got more and more orders, I had to buy more and more things. It's like, I'm building a business just as much as you are. So I feel like, respectfully, if no one's down there, I'm not saying you have to give me a space, but it's like, it would be nice. It would be a nice suggestion. It would be something nice to do. Now, at that point in time, I was to the point where I'm like, bro, I can't put my stuff in storage. And I still feel like, wait, I can't put my stuff in storage. What if I have an order that night? That means I have to get off work 7 p.m., go to the storage unit, get the stuff out of storage, pray I don't forget nothing, go home, shower, wash my body, do all these things, when I could just have my stuff at my home. I'm just to the point where I'm like, bro, I'm gonna take out part of my whole bed, get a twin size, get a futon. Like, I have it in my Amazon cart, a futon bed, and move stuff around and bring my stuff back up here. Like, that's because I just don't want any trouble. And this is why I said to a therapist, because I'm anxious to the point where I feel like, you know, when I was younger and we didn't clean our rooms, or we did something wrong, my parents would throw my stuff away. And it got to a point where they went in my room one day for something, I don't know why, and they saw my bears were hanging up there, and they got mad talking about it's a hole in the ceiling, it's a hole in the ceiling. I'm like, but I've hung up stuff before and put holes in places before. You said nothing. And it's like, the fact that you were in my room scares me, because you'll see something and you'll say something, or you'll see something and you'll take something. Like, it's just a lot of mistrust there. So it got to the point where I move my Funko Pops because I'm like, bro, they're gonna come in my room and take my Funko Pops and throw them away. That's I guess the PTSD I got from that. I don't know, but this is how I feel. I'm like, I don't want to come home one day and it's like, you gotta get rid of your stuff, or we're gonna throw your stuff away, or this, that, and third. Like, I don't want it to become that. So now I'm to a point where I'm like, so far she hasn't said anything, because like I said again, if she's in a mood, one day it's, oh, you can't do this, and the next day it's nothing. So right now, I guess I'm good to go. But I'll keep you updated. Sorry, someone was calling me. I don't know why. It's 5 o'clock and it's a holiday. Who calls? Anyways, thank y'all for watching. Y'all be safe, be blessed. Remember to take care of yourself, your mental health, men specifically right now, as it is Men's Mental Health Month. And remember, I'm nobody special. I'm just another freckle face. And I hope you have a good day.